closer to the Chinese economically than the rest of the G7.
That's our economics editor Faisal Islam there. Let's talk now to Sir Sebastian Wood, who's chair of the China-Britain Business Council and chairman of China Affairs at Schroders, also former UK ambassador to Germany and China. Good to have you with us. And Faisal, running us through the details of those talks there. Maybe give us a sense of what trade currently looks like between the UK and China, because it's not exactly balanced, is it?
We have a big goods deficit with China, like most of China's other major trading partners. But actually, we have a significant surplus in services trade, some £12 billion surplus in services trade. And that tells us something, which is that the market for services in China is growing very rapidly. Chinese consumers are developing more of an appetite for services. This is a very natural thing as China becomes a more prosperous country. And it's a huge strategic opportunity for the UK. We are a global services superpower. And when China wanted to rise up the industrial value chain, the partner that they naturally chose in Europe for that was Germany, for reasons that we can all understand. When they want to move up the services value chain and become a modern services economy, then the UK should be the natural partner. And this is a huge opportunity for our economy and could be a source of much needed growth in the UK.
And so an opportunity, one wonders though how the UK can position itself to exploit that opportunity. What does it need to offer China to make sure it is chosen as a key partner?
Well, actually, China is choosing us already. The Chinese Commerce Minister here this week, his principal focus, get this, is to boost UK exports to China. You know, the Chinese understand that the trade imbalance is a problem, and they want to address it as well because they want harmonious relationships with their key trading partners. So we hosted an event, we organised an event for Minister Wang and Secretary of State Peter Kyle yesterday. We had more than 100 British companies. We brought them together with key facilitators who could help them open up a channel of exports to China, including JD.com, who are one of the world's largest online retailers. So the Chinese, it's not that the Chinese are asking a special price for this. The Chinese want to boost consumption in their own country. They want to encourage more UK exports to China. And this is our moment to shine. You know, as Chinese families, households become more prosperous,
yes,
they will develop an appetite for the sorts of high-value goods and services that the UK is good at producing.
And we know in normal times that these things are based on economics. They are about trade. It's about money changing hands to get access to the goods and services, as you've touched on, that consumers will need. But these are not normal times. And if we look at what's happening politically, geopolitically around the world right now, there's a lot of tension when it comes to trade. So what hope is there that the UK and China can navigate that uncertainty and that unpredictability to forge a relationship that is maybe more resilient than perhaps what we've seen with the US and China, for example?
Well, I think the IMF estimate that roughly a third of the volume of global growth will take place in China over the next few years. If we want to grow as a national economy, we have to plug into the sources of global growth. And there is no bigger single source of global growth than China. Now, there is trade tension in China's relations with the United States, in China's relations with the EU. China does have, at the moment, this big structural goods trade surplus, but you can address that in a good way and a bad way. The bad way to address it is to put up trade barriers, is to be protectionist, because that just means we increase our own costs and make ourselves less competitive as a country. The good way to address it is to increase our exports to those increasingly prosperous Chinese consumers, and also to welcome Chinese investment into the UK. If you look at the post-war period, we've had two big waves of investment from industrial powerhouses. In the immediate post-war period, it was the United States, and then in the 80s and the 90s, we had a big wave of Japanese investment. We now think of companies like Nissan and Honda and Toyota as being partly British companies because of the big presence that they have here. The third wave potentially for us is China, and we really need to catch that wave.
Really good to talk to you. Grateful for your insight. So Sebastian Wood there, Chair of the China Britain Business Council. Thank you. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.